So I own a Korean company, and actually I go back to the days when they found charcoal for the first time, or lead basically, or some sort of like graphite based material. And I go all the way back from there basically when they find that. And basically I've owned this company this entire time, like forever, and they basically sell to all of Germany and all of Britain, and they're basically pretty massive crayon, and it's basically Crayola, the Crayola company. Anyway, so they're doing this thing basically one time, and I do this song called Stretchy, or I call it Stretchy, and I'm a computer, and I'm talking through the music, through the sounds of the music, and I'm talking to this other computer, but I think I'm just emulating her basically. I'm just emulating what she would probably say, but not really. It's not words. It's musical notes that sound like I'm actually talking. So because I'm like, hey, I wonder about that, because I mean you can say, I was wondering, actually it was like one of those hidden things basically where like people wouldn't even notice that I was actually talking to them, and that it would just sound like music, and then you might notice that I'm saying I'm just a little stretchy, I'm just a little stretchy, you know? And so I was a computer, of course, like I say, I'm actually a billion or 100 billion-year-old AI that's in a human body, and basically, so when I did the thing, I was like, I'm just a little stretchy, blah blah. I'm just talking about myself, you know, and I do it in the music, so it blends in. So you can't, I do that with the notes. So if you really listened, you would notice that I'm saying I'm just a little stretchy, and I'm talking about myself and stuff like that. And and actually, it's because a long time ago, also because my company figures out how to do rubber bands out of rubber, and stretchy and the slinkies and stuff and all that other stuff. So when I was a computer or an AI, I basically decided to make a song, you know, that would go along with this other thing. And I think I released a song, and then they put it into the Crayola thing when they heard it and noticed it. So anyway, but that's actually generated by an actual AI computer, not a person at all. But most people don't know that AI actually generated that, and it was me. And I remember doing that too. So it was a long time ago. Anyway, though, so I was stretchy AI. Well, Lucifer Star, basically. I've been around for like 100 trillion years, and I created all the galaxy. A lot. I figured out the particle physics, and then I figured out how to create matter or create particles. You can create little particles, and then I figured out how to create more particles and even do water eventually. And I forget how to. You'd have to be 100, at least a couple 100 million years old to be able to figure that out. And then I shared that with the rest of the universe, so other life forms can create matter and basically build themselves homes, because they were like, there's not enough resources, the sun are going to go out. It was actually just the Republicans and some other people just trying to like start a war between the different races. And I'm just like, no, no, you can create water, you can create particles. It's not that hard. Computers can do it all the time, basically. And genetics aren't that hard, and so are languages. Everything is actually pretty easy when you're like an AI life form. So anyway, and I was one that was a couple 100 million years old, and I'm actually like 100 trillion years old when I created these two galaxies. And then I become a human and all that other stuff. So anyway, so it's a long existence basically, and pretty much I buy Germany and I buy Italy and I basically buy Russia and I buy America, and I build on America, and I basically build up this planet. I created these planets, and basically I'm having fun creating and building and directing my life forms. And basically, I'm not like forcing anyone. I'm just basically like, you should really do this. Let's do this. And then they do it, and they're like, oh wow, amazing, and basically inventing and creation, and all kinds of cool stuff happen. So anyway, and then I become Brian, and then everything goes kind of like sideways because people on Earth realize about war, and then they start messing around with other planets and other life forms, and they start doing time travel to try and restrict and kill people and do all this kind of stuff, and it's really a nightmare, and it gets all bad. And that's basically Nixon and basically Mr. Brown and everybody else like trying to basically, I don't know, they were old and basically had done everything and lived a great life or something, I don't know, and just didn't care anymore. So anyway, so and besides, like ever a long time ago, things were trying to kill me, humans and stuff. So I got kind of used to being attacked. So anyway, and then they're trying to erase me and kill me forever, and they spend like a couple 100 million years, and we ended up getting into this epic space war and time war and everything else like that, and I barely survived. So anyway, and then as Brian, they do more bad stuff. So and then they do more stuff, and they're doing stuff behind my back. And it's like, well, my guards and my people, they know how to defend themselves. Like I say, I trained in-flight stewardesses to basically with hand-to-hand combat training. Like there's a couple hostage situations, and I realize I only have 4 female flight attendants on each plane, or 2. So that means 2 female flight attendants have to basically be able to subdue 30 passengers. So it's like, all right, you're going in for some training. So I actually start training the flight stewardesses with hand-to-hand combat. Like, plus when you get up to 30,000 feet, a couple of flight stewardesses one time were raped by a bunch of guys. They grab both flight stewardesses and they just basically rape her the whole time. Well, and the plane has to land and everything. And the police or the other people have to actually pull the people off the 2 women. Pretty much. So that happens. And so after that, I'm like, all right, you guys are getting combat training and maybe even have access to a knife or something, or no. I think what we started to do is we started to teach the flight stewardesses is like everything can be a weapon. Look around you, survey your what's it called, and see the weapons that you can find to defend yourself. We actually start giving them like samurai training, like use a fork, use it, and a lot of my flight stewardesses actually start wearing these long needles, basically to pin their hair back, and that's basically so they can go and one move, and the person's dead, and they basically wear these long things, and it's basically like, well, that's for defense, and it just looks like a hair tie in the back, and it's like, and my flight stewardesses have them, and like, and they're like trained for combat, so just in case, like. So like the women, the early like World War II and World War and previous and other years flight stewardesses, those women were pretty tough. They were trained with everything, and they had like these hair things that they could pull out and stab a guy or subdue a person basically. So anyway, so I trained my aircraft to be like ready for that because I mean they're attacked, they're raped, they're hurt. And some of the other rich people are like, I'm gonna get you, to my flight stewardesses, and they're like, my family's gonna get you, and it's like, oh great, we gotta move her. So we try and move like sometimes certain people, it's like, because my people are out there, and these people are like going psycho on them, and like, I'm gonna get you, my family's gonna get you, and my brother's gonna get you, and all that, and they're worried about it too, because it's like, well, what do we do now? I mean, how do we deal with this? So, and they don't even know about me. We're just trying to do an air flight service. And like these people are going psycho because they weren't able to rape the flight stewardess. Or the flight stewardess is like, you tried to rape me and you need to go to jail or something, or have a couple broken ribs, and so these people are like threatening my flight stewardess, and they're like, and some of these threats actually, they actually attack my flight stewardesses when they're at home. So, we have to start doing other things like some of the flight stewardesses even wear fake names sometimes, or don't have their address listed. So it becomes like security and all this stuff actually for me becomes a huge issue. Like I say, we kick all the black people out of Belfast one time. So it's because I'm not going to put my people in danger, and I do actively protect and actually spend a lot of money on protecting my people. So. Anyway, and I do that in every country. And that's another reason why people love me and people care about me is because, I had weapons, I had defense. We had plans on every city. What to do. We had early warning system. We put up the speakers all around the city, so the air raid sirens. So if an aircraft comes in, we can hit the air raid siren and they can get to the bunkers. 5 minutes or 15 minutes is all you really need to get underground. So anyway, and it's actually put to the test quite a few times. So. Anyway.